Okay, so we're officially live, and I'm gonna wait till we get some folks
Okay.
looking at what we're doing.
Okay. So in the meantime, did you happen to see the Bronze Goddesses video? It's called Real Talk, I Want a Million Subscribers.
What? No.
Okay. So I think this would be a perfect thing to be talking about as
Okay.
people come on.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's a new video. I saw it on Google, like in the Google Plus in the timeline.
Oh,
And
okay.
And she's on there and she's talking about how a lot of people get caught up in just getting to having like 1 million or 100,000 subscribers, that they lose sight of what got them started doing YouTube videos to begin with. And she was just saying how, she personally struggled with that just a tad. And then, God just had to remind her of what her purpose was. And the video, I mean, it just hit home. It really hit home.
I'm gonna have to watch that one.
Yeah, I think
Bronze Goddess. Maybe I should write that down.
yes, the Bronze Goddess.
Bronze Goddess. Okay. Come on, folks, show up.
Show up. And this drink is so amazing, and it sizzles. So like, I love
See,
it.
with the sparkling water or club soda or whatever you use.
Yes.
It's really fresh. It's perfect for summer.
Hi. It hasn't really started yet. You want to come say hi to Courtney?
No, you tell her I said hi.
Just pop your face in. She's seen you before.
Oh, yeah. Tell him to come in, then I'll get my husband because he thinks he's hilarious. So I'm like,
Please. He's sick and he's embarrassed about how he looks, so just forgive his appearance. Come on.
Wait, can I take the phone next door?
Hurry up. He's going to hurry and come back.
okay. Oh, we have
Your
one.
husband's home?
Yeah, he's in the back trying to stay out of my way because he knows I'm doing this. But yeah, you bring M, and then I'll bring J, and then they can be like, hey.
Cool. Don't you love how like they kind of know, like, look, I'm doing this.
Right.
Just leave me alone.
Yeah, they're totally out. Like 10 minutes before, he was like, oh, you ready? You ready? I'm like, yeah. Trying to get amped. I'm like, this is not a football game. This is just a discussion. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm excited.
Me too. So it looks like we got 3 viewers on. Let me see if the chat comes in. Okay, everyone, if you're watching, I'm not sure what you need to click on your end, but pull up the chat and talk to us. I'm going to send a message right now.
One new message. Or is that you?
That's me.
Okay.
So I have to make, maybe the chat is just between us, but I opened questions and answers, so maybe, oh, cool. So we have Kenda Boone that says hello from Nashville.
Hey, Kenda.
Brandy Riley and Danita Moss and Vanessa. Okay, so.
You said Danita Moss?
Danita Moss is on?
Oh, hey! I just welcomed her on hernaturalsunshine.com. I remember that name.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so she came to our first live.
And then Vanessa Agu?
Yep.
Another familiar name. Hey!
That's wonderful. Hey, everyone's saying hi. That's so funny. Okay, hi from Nashville. All right, well, we got some viewers, so you want to get started, and then maybe we'll have M and possibly Shay Baby interrupt later.
Shay Baby is totally not here because I did not want him to steal the show. We took him to a salon yesterday and he got his hair twisted and it looks amazing. I'm just not ready to be upstaged.
That's so funny. Okay. So for our viewers who are on, welcome to our Girls Night In. I hope you got your snacks, and I hope you saw the recipes that I posted on my blog, thinkandgrowchick.com. But if you didn't, Sunshine and I shared some recipes that we thought would be fun and healthy and really quick and cheap to make. So Sunshine's recipe was pineapple chobani yogurt with these great like glazed nuts that go on top, and it's really good. So we'll be eating that during the chat because it's Girls Night In. So please don't hate on this.
Mine over here as well.
Oh yeah, she has a better bowl than I do. Hers is really cute. And then my mix that I've been making for a while, I don't even know how I came up with this, but I call it a faux-hito. It's just a fake, healthier version of mojito done with either sparkling water and club soda, and then I put crushed blackberries and mint and lime in it, and it's just really good. So.
Absolutely delicious. I'm actually almost halfway done with mine, so I'm a little salty that I didn't make a bigger glass.
Yeah. So, did anyone else? I don't know if they can talk to us. I was just wondering if anyone else made the dish, but oh well. So we'll get started.
Okay.
Okay. So, Sunshine, owner of Peace, Love, and Sunshine Natural Products. You have a fabulous YouTube channel. So please give us the genesis, the beginning, on how you became the Natural Sunshine.
Well, I guess the quick version to that, the quick answer would just be that I had newly gone natural, and I really was naive enough to believe that there was no one else on the internet talking about natural hair. I just thought that I was going to come onto the internet and start blogging about natural hair, and everyone was going to be like, oh my gosh, she's talking about natural hair. And so I really went online in the beginning just to share my journey, because going natural was so life-changing for me. You know, I was coming out of wearing weaves and fake lashes, and, you know, just, and not that there's anything wrong with that per se, but for me, it was really a sign to me that I was not very clear on who I was and what I wanted to be. And so when I cut all my hair off or took the weave off and went natural, I really wanted to share what a liberating experience that was with other women. And so I just began blogging about my natural hair journey, and then I also started making up my own products because I was told that shea butter was great on natural hair, and I moved to a place where I couldn't find it, so I had to order it, and it was just this big headache to get quality shea butter. So I started making it, you know, whipping up products at home myself and blogging about them, and the next thing I know, people were asking to purchase them. And for me, that was it was a shocker, because I thought, this is so simple. Like, why would anyone pay me for this? Like, girl, just, you know, get some shea butter, you know, just do it. And so I just saw that there was really an interest, and I also saw that there was really a need for the information that I was putting out there, although I was not the only one. I guess my perspective really resonated with a lot of women. And so what started off as just me just innocently sharing my experience has just continue to get bigger and bigger and develop more and more, and God has continued to bless it to where we are right now.
Wow, that's a great story. I saw, I don't know if it was a video or something you did a while ago where you actually showed pictures of what you looked like with your weave-in, and I think you're from Chicago, right?
I am.
Another reason why I like you. I'm from Detroit, and my best friend's from Chicago. I just love Chicago people, but anyway,
okay.
That's the point. But I remember seeing a picture with your hair long, and I was like, what? That doesn't, like, you would just look so good with short hair. I feel like you should never, ever have had So I love your short hair, and I know when you had, like, it was all super short and, like, with the waves and stuff like that, I was just like, man, her hair is really, really nice. So I wish.
And you know what? I'm sorry to cut you cut you off there, but that is so amazing to me, because it was my husband's idea, and I will just have to say and give him, like, lots of credit on this.
Get out of here! He told you to cut all your hair off.
Well, his exact words were, I really like short hair. I think you would look good with short hair. And he had been complaining about the weaves and things, and I was just kind of like, well, you're just going to have to accept me the way I am. And it was not a huge issue, but it was a little bit of an issue in the relationship. And so he suggested that I cut it, and I did. He wasn't expecting me to go so short, but it is hands down his favorite haircut, and he tries to get me to cut it like every other day.
Yeah. No, it looked shockingly good on you. I was like, she should just wear her hair short for the rest of her life, you know. And I'm sure you want to grow it out and do different things, but I don't know. I just love seeing faces, women that have faces where just short hair looks stunning on them. So I think that is
Well, thank you. Thank you.
And oh, people are letting us know in the chat. I think Brandy Riley, she said she did the yogurt and nut mix, so that's cool. And
Yes.
one who says, "Wow, they've been natural since 1970. You go, girl. You go."
Oh.
I thought I was like a natural, I don't know, old timer or whatever, because I've been natural for 10, going on 11 years. But I know there's people that, have been natural since the first time natural was popular. So.
Right. I guess I'm kind of like a newbie because I've only been natural about 5 years. But now I kind of consider myself a veteran, but do I not qualify?
I think you qualify as a veteran. I think so.
Yay. Yay.
So you started Natural Sunshine blogging, and at this time were you doing written blogs, or did you just go straight into your YouTube videos?
I initially started with written blogs. Videos came later.
Okay. And you were doing this at the same time that you were starting your products, correct?
Yes. Everything was all happening at the same time. As I look back on it, I don't even know how it was all happening, but I was literally living on the internet around the clock for like 2 years straight.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you said that you actually got the idea to start your product line because people were coming to you and asking to buy it. Was it just family and friends, or were people stopping you on the street asking about your hair, or how did people know you were doing this?
It was through the blog. When I initially started blogging, God really blessed it, and it really gained a nice amount of followers. And like I said, at that time, I lived on the internet. I literally slept in my office, and so I would get up in the morning and I would be on the internet, and I would be on the internet literally all day until I went to sleep at night, and then I would get up the next morning and do it all again. And so I guess that type of dedication or consistency really paid off. And so when I would talk about the products that I was using in my hair and taking pictures of it, people would just, "Where can I get this? Do you sell this?" as a comment. And I had already started thinking about going into business, and I had been whipping up products and working on it. But at the time that I began getting inquiries, I didn't feel I was ready, but it was like they were not letting up. It was like, I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what you put it in. I want it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you first started and you were first putting those initial products out, was it like gangbusters? Like people were like, yes, finally Sunshine's offering, was the demand really high?
In the very beginning, I wouldn't say it was very high. It was decent. It was good enough to where I could keep up with it, and I could still have time to do my blogs and do different things. Okay. It grew quickly, but I would say it grew naturally. It wasn't just like this overwhelming, So.
So you're doing all this natural hair stuff, and you're talking about your hair on YouTube videos. At what point did you decide, and what made you decide to start doing the more introspective videos about not only your family and your cute son and everything, but what was going on with your spiritual life? Like, how did you even get the idea to marry the two?
I can't quite pinpoint exactly what caused me to start doing that, because I've always considered myself to be not necessarily putting a product out, but always sharing myself. Everything that I've always put out, I felt was just me. And it wasn't really a tough decision to make to go into other areas of my life, because I'd already felt like I was just giving them myself. And so if at this point in my life this is what's important to me, as a blogger, this is what I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to force myself to only talk about this one particular thing, because I'm not here just to be put into a natural hair box, And so around the time that I really started talking about my spiritual walk was mostly because I had just gotten saved. And so I was super excited, and that's what was happening in my life. And it's like, I have I have to talk about this. If I'm not talking about this, I don't know what I would be talking about, you know? So it was natural. It was natural.
Wow, that's great. I feel like I started watching you right when you had just started doing those videos, and I was just like amazed that there was someone who also talked about natural hair, but also talked about their walk with God in not only a way that I could relate to, but in a way that was inspiring. I was like, oh my goodness, like that is such great insight, or I'm gonna do that, or just little tips you would give to encourage people. Like, to this day, one of my favorite videos of yours, and I've linked about it I think twice on my blog, was the long one where you talk about how you do Bible study in the morning.
Oh, wow.
You're like holding up this like torn up Bible, and you're like, yeah, I use this Bible. And I got this journal, and I got this little journal too that I keep with me, and I'm like, oh, Sunshine, yeah, you need to read this. And I was like, oh, that is such a good idea. So yeah, I stole a lot of that from you. I have a bigger journal that I use, and then I have a small journal that I keep around with me in my purse with little notes like, Courtney, remember, and you gave me the idea from your video. So I was so happy.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, you have no idea what that feels like right now to hear that, you know, because you know the rules when it comes to social media. Make your videos 4 minutes or less. That's what people want to watch, you know, and so when you go into like a 30-minute video, you're completely going against all the rules, and to hear that video has, you know, inspired you, helped you, did anything for you, it's just amazing. That's amazing. That's exciting.
And it's not even just, oh, this is a video that I watch and really enjoy. Like, I've referred to it frequently. So for it to be one of your longer videos, I've watched it over again just to make sure I wasn't missing anything, because it was such a good video. But it got to the point where well, outside of the Sunshine and M videos, because those are just hilarious, but it got to the point where I was looking forward to your spiritual videos more so than I was even looking forward to your natural hair stuff. So, yeah, that how you do Bible study one was really encouraging. I love the I traded God in, I backslid video, and I think that too was the genesis of you kind of putting Peace, Love, and Sunshine products on the back burner, correct? Mm-hmm. So maybe you want to talk about, okay, you're doing all this blogging and everything's being really successful and people are buying your products and you're getting a name for yourself, and then kind of, well, to us it seemed like out of nowhere, but maybe you can talk about where it came from, where you're like, you know what, I'm going to put this to the side and I'm going to work on my spiritual life. What was going on at that time?
You know what, I will also just interject that a lot of why I stopped also just had to do with the fact that we moved. So we have moved, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 times in the last 5 years. And so that has always been a huge thing, and just every time you move, at least from my perspective as the woman, as the wife, as the mom, there's always all of these challenges. There's always this whole new situation that you're being introduced to. And so to take a business that's going so well and then having to pick it up and pack it up and take it somewhere, that is always, I won't say always, but that was a challenge. But to answer the original question, it was more so just a realization of, why am I doing this? You know, it was coming to terms with, is this something that I'm doing now because I need it to complete me, to make me feel worthy? Without this, do I feel inadequate? Is this becoming, like, is this taking over life? Because when I first started, like I said, I was waking up in the morning, blogging, and I would be on the internet literally all day. I had no friends. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do anything. The internet was my life. But I wasn't saved. And so once I got saved, it was like, wow, I really get up every morning and my whole day revolves around this. I don't know how I feel about that anymore. I don't know how I feel about the fact that it makes or breaks me. You know, and when you're dealing with being involved in the internet so much and you are making a name for yourself, as many people like you, you're going to have people who don't. So then I have, you know, the negative comments coming, or different things, or people who aren't necessarily, you know, Team Sunshine, that having the ability to rock me and cause me to question myself. there were just different stages along this journey where I recognized that, number one, I needed to come to grips with, what am I doing this for? Who am I? Who am I separated from this? And I also just, I really felt like God was dealing with me on a lot of those issues, and really trying to get to me where this can't replace me, you know? And so it was a time to really step back and get my mind right, like get right. I guess that's the best way I could say it.
Yeah. So along with you focusing on God more, was your husband complaining about you spending so much time on the internet, or was it causing any stress with you managing your family responsibilities, or was it strictly like a spiritual separation that you sensed with running your business?
Husband never complained. He has always been a supporter, and I think men see things differently than women do. So if I'm not cooking and I'm not necessarily cleaning and things like that, he doesn't really see that as a problem. It's kind of like, baby, go for what go for what you're going after. So it really wasn't an issue in our relationship in any way, shape, or form. It was mostly just me recognizing that this isn't all my life is about. You know, I do have these other huge responsibilities, and I personally feel as though I'm neglecting them, and I want to get better in these areas, and I feel that God will honor that.
Okay, that's great. So practically speaking, how long was this downtime for you, and what things did you do to get you back on track? Was it just simply ignoring everything, or did you develop a new routine, or what did that look like?
Well, the entire time I was in California, which was about 2 years, I did not sell any products during that time. However, during that time, I continued to blog and vlog. So it was really just the product line that got put on hold, and everything else I was able to keep up with. And so that was a span of about 2 years that I was completely away from it. And then when I moved back to South Carolina, that's when I got back started into it. And so so there wasn't really, I wouldn't say there was a time where I just completely ignored it, because I cannot completely ignore the YouTube and the natural sunshine. I was less active, you know, during certain periods, but there was never ever a time where I was just like, absolutely positively, no, I can't do anything. I can't.
So what things did you do? Were you just reading the Bible more, just getting more involved with your church, or what kind of got you centered or back on track spiritually?
Well, thank you for asking me that. In California, that was the first time I'd ever actually joined a church. And so the 2 years that I was there, I considered myself like a super Christian. I was at church every single time the doors opened. I was highly involved. I was on the leadership board with the women's ministry at the church. I ended up doing the announcements at the church. I was just like that person and it was a small town, so if you saw me, you could ask me what was going on at the church. Kind of like, so, do you know what happened? I heard such and such happened on Thursday. What happened? Like, I would have the scoop on that. But during that time, it was really about just building a real foundation of my faith. It was about I feel like this is the point at which I'm probably about to get like real.
All right, good.
So, I got saved in 2010, and prior to getting saved, I was wild, and I was a party girl. I mean, I guess that's the best way to put it. And so being married, being a mom, being away from a big city was a huge deal for me. And so it really took a lot for me to even become accustomed to my role as a military wife. It took me a while to really settle into that and to really calm down and to be okay with my lifestyle now as a married woman, as a mom. even though I went into this situation, it's not like someone kidnapped me and made me get married, but it was still a process for me. So the 2 years in California where I was really just focused on my relationship with God, it was really the beginning of allowing God to heal me and to change my mind. There were a lot of attitudes that needed to be changed. There were a lot of things going on with me internally that really needed God's hands on it, like all over it. And to this day, that journey continues. You know, I continue to see like different, you know, deliverance happening all the time. But because of the lifestyle that I had before I got saved, I was just one of those people that really needed to get into the Word and get the Word in me. And so that 2 years, it was all about studying Scripture, memorizing Scripture, really retraining my brain, how to think, how to process things, how to cast down imaginations, how to speak back to those things that are, you know, trying to come against me, and really learning how to use my spiritual weapons against the things that I was facing. And so that the 2 years, I would say, was about foundation, and it's time that I really truly praise God for. Since then, I have not been able to go in depth in my Bible study the way I did when I was in California, but I just praise God for it, because those scriptures are in me. You know, they're in me, and I come across the old journals and I see the in-depth studies that I did, and I just praise God for it. I praise God for it.
Oh man, I love that. When you just said that, it reminded me of your video where you talked about how you did Bible study, and you're like, yeah, and I like to memorize scripture because, you know, the Bible says the word is like my sword and my shield, and it comes up and you literally are like, no, sunshine, and I was just dying laughing. But I got the point, so I was like, man, I need to start, you know, memorizing. So that's good. I'm glad that you elaborated on that, because I think it helps people see how it can just help you in your day-to-day thinking about this, because when, I don't know, just your mindset changes once you really commit your life to God, and you just think differently. So, absolutely. And especially once you get into the Bible, and like you said, you make the word like a part of your heart and your being, and you start to live and walk this out, you know, your walk changes, your perspective changes, the things you do change. So can you talk about then, since the demarcation between you not being saved and being saved happened kind of in the middle of this journey, your thought process on success and ambition and wanting to do all this, once you took that downtime, what changed in your thinking? What things do you look back on now and you're like, I don't think that was the right way to look at it, and how do you see all of it now?
You know, I don't look back on anything as far as, you know, business decisions or anything. I don't look back on any of them really and think, I don't like how I did that. I praise God that despite the fact that I wasn't saved, I can see how His hand was on things even then. And my motives at the time, I believe my motives have always been pure. It has always been a desire to help people. And so because that has always been the goal, I don't look back on anything and kind of feel like, now that I'm saved, I don't really like that. So I don't have any regrets. But I will say that now, it's so interesting that we're doing this interview today, because I feel like now I'm in a season where my mind is still changing about things. And I would just say that in the beginning, success was something really, really big. To be successful would have been, you know, you would have to be able to buy Peace, Love, and Sunshine products at anywhere in the United States, at any store, and Sunshine would be a household name, and everybody has a jar of Sunshine products in their bathroom, and, you know, the world just knows me. That would have been success. But in this season, I really see that picture of success changing, and it's really going so far away from material things. It's really becoming more so like, how can I find a way to love God, love my family, love myself, and still put this out? Like, where is the cap on that? And if the cap happens to be at, you can only, it'll always be small until your son goes to high school, for example. I'm learning how to say, you know what, that's okay. What defines success for me now is like, it's a much bigger picture. It involves so much more than just my business being a success. It's my family being a success. It's my son being a success. It's, you know, me keeping God first and being able to help and love people, you know. So I would just say, I guess to answer that question, my definition of success has definitely changed, and I see God continuing to change it. And I'm like amazed at the fact that now it's like, I would just be happy with, you know, a nice little house and, you know, and just loving my family, you know, and being able to continue to do this because clearly God uses it in people's lives. And as long as we can earn enough money to pay, you know, pay bills and maybe take a vacation or two, I'm happy.
I love that you give that perspective because especially online and with social media, I think a lot of people see somebody else's success and what they're doing, and they compare themselves to them, and then they feel like less of a success because they're not exactly on the same level, where it's like you said, like you have a son, so for you, you know, successfully raising your child and for him to have a mom, you know, at home or whatever that looks like for you is a part of your definition of success, so you're okay with not reaching whatever blow up status until, you know, you feel like you've successfully completed raising your son at that time. But I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot of women, and I don't have kids, so I don't know, but I think there's a lot of women who maybe they have kids or they don't, or, you know, they're married and they see like a single 24-year-old on YouTube who's blowing up, or, you know, you have whatever responsibilities. Maybe you're caring for a sick parent or you're in grad school, and we look at ourselves like we're all on the same playing field or on the same plane, and then we get upset when we don't necessarily have what somebody else has. But, you know, you don't know what's going on in their life and what their personal success definition is. So I think it's really important to define success for yourself and what would make you happy, and not necessarily what somebody else is doing and what makes them happy. Because, you know.
Absolutely, and I think that if we would, all of us, just really sit down and really ask yourself, what is success to me, and then really just, what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't know, I want to say nitpick, but I don't mean that word, but just look at your definition of success and ask yourself, why do I think this is successful? Is this because the image that is out there, this is what is portrayed as success? Is that why I want this? Or is this truly something that's going to fulfill me? And I'm really seeing God dealing with me on that issue very strongly in this season of my life. And I'll just go off into like a little side road here. Very recently, and I did a video about this. I haven't put it out yet. It's another 30-minute video that I'm trying to like whittle down. But I was just talking about how I finally came to this place where I realized that a lot of things that I was doing was because I was trying to keep up with like the Joneses to a certain degree. And I just had to finally come to grips with it. Like, you know what? I'm just going to have to be me. If I don't look as wealthy as you think I should look, if I don't look as successful as you think I should look, then I'm sorry. Like, I am who I am, and this is just, you know, this is just what it is. And I just see God just changing so much for me, my definition of success, and so much for me, my definition of wealth as well. That has been a huge thing lately, and I'm just excited about it.
Yeah, that's good. I kind of feel like I'm in the same space, especially with the wealthy issue, because for a while, and if you look at some of my old blog posts, like I would do yearly goals, like around New Year's, what I would want. And at the time, I was like a poor college student, so, you know, to get an extra $1,000 was like, oh my goodness, I would just be the richest person in the world. But I used to just throw out random numbers that I wanted to make, and I don't even know why I wanted to. It just seemed like, you know, it would be a lot of money. But lately I've been reminding myself, you know, to the rest of the world, and especially like certain developing countries, and, you know, we're already rich. Like, we're
Absolutely.
like, oh, I look at Bill Gates or someone who drives a very expensive car, has like, you know, a lot of material possessions here in America, and we feel like, you know, we're not wealthy, but to the majority of the world, which is starving, you know, we are wealthy. So it's kind of, I think, a slap in the face, and especially a slap in the face to God, who has blessed us and has given us so much, to not properly, one, appreciate what we have and steward what we have.
Absolutely.
You know, that's such a huge principle in the Bible. Like, you know, you do well with a little, and then you will be given more. So even just me, and like how we were talking about earlier, you mentioned, I think you said the bronze goddess, who was talking about wanting more followers and kind of battling that. Like, I used to struggle with, like, oh, I want more followers, and I want to do all these things that, you know, make more money or whatever. And, you know, I want my stuff to be successful, but I'm trying to really nurture and grow what I already have, the followers I do have, and, you know, allow what I'm pouring into them to overflow and just kind of grow organically, versus me like, oh yes, I collected, you know, a few hundred more followers today, like, okay, bump you guys, got to run out and get more people, you know, like that just doesn't bode well for the people who are investing in me if I'm not willing to invest in them, just because I don't think I have as much as somebody else. And I think it's the same thing with my money, just really focusing on, like, how can I do better with what I already have? And,
Absolutely.
you know, so I don't know, I just think in America we have a weird definition about not settling, and we think not settling is like not being happy with what you have and then like having to run out and go get more. But I think not settling is not settling with the best or what you're doing with your current state. Like, can you do better? Don't settle with just, oh, I make X amount a year, and, you know, we're saving this much and we're doing okay, whatever. Most people would be like, oh, I'm not going to settle. I need to go out and make more money. But it's like, maybe you should not settle and maximize what you already have and do more than what you're doing right now before you expect to get something else. So anyway, that's just like a thought change that I've been having. So I'm happy that you brought that up, because I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Sorry for the side rails, people. They're like, okay, whatever.
I'm enjoying it.
Move on. Quit talking. We want to hear more about Sunshine. So can you tell us then, at what, you were just in California for 2 years, and you were kind of having this spiritual awakening that allowed you to refocus things. Was it just leaving California that you felt that you were ready to start pursuing your business again, or did you feel like you hit some spiritual benchmark where you were like, okay, I've dealt with all the former issues, like I feel good about moving forward with what I previously had put on the back burner?
Well, I really just felt really good about getting back started, because I was in South Carolina and a lot of just logistical things were worked out because I was no longer in California. So my suppliers and things, it was a lot easier to get things here. And I knew that my husband was going to be extremely busy because he's a recruiter. And so it just seemed like now was the time. And I would say that I did feel very strong spiritually, but and I'll leave that there because there is a but I won't go down that road yet. But at the time I felt that I was ready. In retrospect, do I think I maybe consulted God enough? Maybe not. But at the time, I did feel like, you know, I got this. I'm ready. And it could have also just been just anxiety over it, because from the time that I stopped doing it, there was never, people were always still asking for the products, always. And I kind of also just got sick of telling people no. So, and in my mind, it just didn't make sense. Like, you have all these people contacting you, asking you for this stuff that you can very well make and sell them. Why are you not doing it? And so some of it was just like, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm back in South Carolina. I've spent my 2 years in the desert, my desert season. You know, it's time.
So what did you the demand was going to be when you came back? Were you nervous that since you were gone for so long that people would be like, Sunshine, I forgot about her, you know, and have to, or did you know that there would be a huge demand once you got back?
You know, I knew there would be a demand. I didn't know exactly how big or how small. I just knew that I knew I wouldn't start and then no one would be interested. I knew that there would be some interest there, and I was just at that time willing to do whatever was required to grow the interest. I guess I have that Ty Tribbett mindset. If he did it before, he could do it again. You know, it's the same God back then, same God, you know, right now. So I just always trusted that if I did it before, I can do it again, even if that means developing new customers.
Right. Well, I knew it was going to be a big deal, and I remember you talking about you had a time where you were visiting like a SCORE mentor or SBA or some sort of like counseling for people who want to start small businesses, and you had said that, oh, in this new year I'm going to get back into this and I'm going to work on building my business, but I feel kind of embarrassed because, you know, I did that last year and then now I'm doing it again. And I remember literally watching your videos and thinking like, oh, don't feel embarrassed. Like, I know once you put it out there, you'll be fine. Even just from my own experience, because I wasn't so aware that you had products because I kind of came maybe in the middle of your journey, but my desire to buy your products once you got started was 100% driven by the fact that I really felt like I almost knew you and I could relate to everything that you were going through, and I just so much appreciated your honesty and transparency, and it was like you were a real person. You weren't just, you know, another product on the shelf at Target or something that I could order. Like, I wanted to buy it because I wanted to, you know, get a piece of you and then invest in your life as well. So I figured if I felt that way, like, I knew there would be tons and tons of people who felt the same way. So I knew you were going to be fine. I was just waiting for it to happen.
Well, I'm excited that you have that confidence in me. And, you know, there is that embarrassment, that starting and stopping. But after you and I did the practice, was that last Sunday?
Yes.
I really felt so strongly. Let me just tell you, I felt so strongly this in my spirit. I felt there is still a part of me that feels like, oh my gosh, you've started, you've stopped, you've started, you've stopped, you've done it so many times, like, why don't you just give up? There is that part in there, you know, and very strongly after we talked on Sunday, I just felt like, you know what, I'm actually really happy that the starting and stopping in my journey has been documented on YouTube and via my blog, because I think other people need to see that for some people, yes, God blesses them, and when they get started with something, it's just smooth sailing, you know, straight to the top. And for those people, you're excited for them, and God bless them, and I'm excited for them too. But for a lot of people, that is not the journey. For a lot of people, it's a lot of obstacles, it's a lot of growth, it's a lot of setbacks, it's a lot of work. And the Bible says, it says something along the lines of falling down 7 times but getting up 8 times. And so I really love the fact, and I feel like the Holy Spirit was ministering this to me on Sunday, that people don't always need to see just a straight success story. And what I have put out there and the different trials and ups and downs that I've been through have been useful, and nothing is wasted. And if it helps even one person to keep going, then I feel like I've done my job. And I'm excited. I'm actually no longer embarrassed. And now I'm just excited that I can motivate other people just to keep going, like, no matter what.
Right. I don't know who really just goes straight through and, you know, it's just a bang-up success. Like, even in my own experience, I've talked about stupid stuff I did at school and getting into credit card debt and then having to claw my way out of that. And it wasn't until I started being transparent with that people started emailing me and leaving comments and saying that they really resonated with me sharing that part of my story. And I think it's just part of, I don't know, being just a human being. Like, no one gets it perfect. And I think it's a disservice when people get up here and they're like, oh, I'm so successful and perfect and, you know, I've done everything right. No one's done everything right, and it's the things that you've done wrong that provide a roadmap to people and hope that they too can have an opportunity to turn their life around and to do something wonderful. So I commend you. for being open and honest always with
I try. So
maybe we should move into some of the questions now. I printed out the questions that people left earlier, and then everybody who's watching, like, now is definitely a good time to throw in some questions. But yes, I'm just happy that everybody's participating. See, someone right here is saying that Kinda says, so glad that you two are talking about stopping and starting because it's so real. Hashtag a word. I'm like, yeah, girl, a word for real. Just to know that, you know, you can start and stop again, and it's really not starting and stopping. It's just a continuation of your journey, you know.
Absolutely.
And then other people, Brandy says that what's helped her get over the comparison habit is understanding and reminding herself that we're all created for a special purpose and that we're all unique and beautiful in God's eyes. And has, just to piggyback off that, has that played a role in just your brand, your product line, what you do online, just this idea that maybe you were created to kind of do what you do in ministering to people?
Absolutely, absolutely, and more so now than ever before. I'm seeing, I guess I'm just learning more about myself and learning more about what my gifts are, and it definitely plays a role into what it is I'm putting out there. I'm starting to see more so what resonates most with people, and I do now, you know, because I dealt with the comparison thing and I did YouTube videos about that, but I am starting to more so focus on, okay, God, what do you have for me to do? You know, what is it that you have for me? Not what is it that I think I want because I see somebody else has it. What do you have for me? So absolutely.
What advice could you give then? That goes to a great question that we got earlier. And I think the person repeated it here when they joined the chat, but they were saying something along the lines of, how do you know that what you have to offer others in the world is even meaningful enough to pursue it? And what made you believe in your dream? So I guess for you with your natural hair blogging and then Peace, Love, and Sunshine products, why did you feel that it was meaningful, and what gave you the drive to pursue it?
You know what? I read that question on the page, and I have been thinking about that. And so the answer that I had thought of previously was, how do you know what you have to offer the world as a value? Honestly, you don't know. You really just have to get out there and do it. That's the only way you're really going to find out if anyone else finds what you have as valuable, is to put it out there. You've got to take that risk. But now that we've been having this conversation, I would just say, I think that even for yourself, Courtney, and for me, our messages hit home first. I think we put the information out there because we knew we needed it, and we wish someone else was out there that we could relate to saying the things that we needed to hear. And so I would say to that person, if you feel like this information, even if no one else read it, you personally are benefiting from it, I think you're off to a great start. When I got started, I didn't really do it expecting people to applaud me, and like I was telling Courtney when we practice, I'm always shocked when people are, you know, so excited about what I do, because I feel like I'm just me. Like, I don't feel like I'm anybody special. It was just, I wanted to put this out there because I wanted to hear it. I wished there was some, you know, relatively cute chick out there, you know, telling me, you know, I didn't have to wear a weave, I could be natural, and really pulling it off. Maybe I could have saved myself thousands of dollars. Maybe I would have heard her. And so I personally felt that there was a need, and so that's why I put it out there. And so I would say to you, if you're questioning whether or not what you have is of value, do you value it? And I'm sure you do. Then you're not the only one like you. So more than likely, there are lots of other people who you represent, and they need to hear it from you. So I hope that helps.
Oh, yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to say, if it's meaningful to you, then it's likely meaningful to other people. But like you said, you won't know until you put it out there. But I don't know any scenario where something is sincerely meaningful to you and you're doing it from a place of wanting to put it out there and help other people and just kind of share your experience. that would not be received by anyone at all. So yes, I would definitely encourage that person to just do it. Just do it. You might be surprised. So another question that we have from Curly Kiki, she asked this on your YouTube page.
Yes.
She wants to know, how do you manage space in your home with your business and projects, and especially since you have a child, and how do you manage your time?
Okay, so Curly Kiki, I know you. Hi. Okay, so as far as managing the space, praise God, my son is very mature. From the time that he was able to begin to learn how to talk, we've always spoken to him as though he were an adult. And so he's so mature, and he is so smart, and he is so awesome. And so he really understands. He understands what I do. We talk about shea butter all the time. He knows that's what mommy does. And so he's very respectful of what's his space and what's my space. And then, my husband's, he works so much, so we don't worry about him. But managing the space in the house has actually been very, very easy. I have my designated areas, and the family respects it because, we're a unit and they really do support me. And so, praise God, that has never been an issue. As far as managing time, I can't even really speak on that and not feel like I'm lying, because that is something that I'm really still working on. And so, but like I was telling you, Courtney, the thing is I prioritize. So the things like my family, my relationship with God, taking care of my home, taking care of myself, those things take priority, and then I just trust God to bless the rest of the time that I do have for business things, and I just do the best I can with what I have, but I try to stay true to my priorities.
Great
But
answer.
Courtney, you really seem to have like a great, time management thing going on, so I think you should answer that question.
It's just there's a few routines and systems and processes or whatever that I just had been tinkering with over the years, and I just kept attempting to do that until it became a part of my routine. And yeah, I'm not perfect. I still mess up, but you just have to, I don't even know how to describe it because I've been doing it for so long, but just some things that have really helped me is, like I was telling you during our practice session, I try to what I call script the day ahead of time. So I think a lot of people fail because they're like, either they do one of two things. They overload their to-do list, so they know they have all these things they want to do, and they're like, okay, so they write down 20 different things that they're going to do on their to-do list, and they take no attention to whether it's for a business project or for work, or if it's just something simple like I need to pick up toothpaste from the grocery store, or just every little thing that they could ever have to do in the world is just thrown on that to-do list, and then you feel overwhelmed when you look at it, or you try to do some things that you don't complete it and you feel like a complete failure. So I used to do that a lot. I wrote a post about that years ago where my to-do list was just insane, and I was like, why would anybody even do that? Or they do something else where they try to kind of squeeze everything into certain time blocks. So it's like, yes, from 8 to 9 I'm going to do this, and then from 9 to 9:15 I'm going to do this, and from 9:15 to 10 o'clock I'm going to do this, and just like, just cramming it all in there. And, the reality is the day is fluid. Things always take longer than you expect them to take. So instead of putting it in specific time blocks, and instead of just like dumping on myself all these things that I want to do, I do something that I call script my day, which is just basically acknowledging the time that I really have in the day. So I have a full-time job, so I know from 8 to 5 or so, that there's pretty much not much I can do there. I have a lunch break that I do work out, so luckily working out is kind of automatically taken care of because I just do it on my lunch break. But I know that I have a certain time in the morning from when I get up to when I have to start my commute and go to work. And I get up really early. I get up at like 5, no later than 5:30. And I've been doing that since I've been in college for like 3 years now, just because it's so helpful to me in terms of squeezing in those extra things during the day. Just some things, if you just start them like first thing in the morning, they're just either going to get done or you're going to significantly see progress on them. So I do that. And then the remainder of the time, I document how much time I have on my commute. I realistically think about, well, how long is it going to take me to cook dinner and clean up, and all the little odds and ends stuff that takes time that we don't consider. We just say, oh, when I get home from work, I'm going to work on this for 4 hours. But do you really have 4 hours if you have to cook, you have to clean, maybe you need to throw a load of laundry, you just have different kind of stuff that you need to do. So after thinking about all those things, I come up with the time that I realistically have. So I might have an hour and a half in the morning before work, and then I have 2 hours squeezed in, maybe an hour right when I get home from work, before my husband comes home, and then I'm work cleaning and talking to him and all that, and then maybe an hour before I go to bed. And then in that time, I pencil in what I want to accomplish. And then I just focus on what I call are my big rocks, which are the biggest things that I want to accomplish for whatever project that I'm working on. So for the most of the time, the project that I'm working on is Think and Grow Chick. So there's a gazillion and one things that I could be doing with Think and Grow Chick. I could be putting out new tweets, I could be tweaking my logo, I could whatever. But I just think of what are the big rocks? What are the things that if I accomplish today or if I accomplish this week, I would feel so accomplished and it would actually move me along in terms of my goal for that particular project. What are those things? And then I put them in those time slots that I just determined that I had. So I know I got an hour and a half in the morning, I have an hour here, I have an hour here. I script or plan, and it's kind of loose, so I don't do it like, oh, from 8 to 9 I'm going to be doing this, but I just say in this general space that I know I have available, I'm going to work on writing a blog post for an hour. And then when I get home in this space that I have generally available, then I'm going to do this. And then the hour before I go to bed, I'm going to read up on this book and then take notes on some things that I need to be doing. And then in a perfect week, because I don't always accomplish this, but in a perfect week, when I've done all those things, I'm able to look back and see that I've moved moved the progress along. So one quote, I don't know who it's attributed to. Some people have said it's Bill Gates or whatever. Who knows who the quote is? But one quote that kind of speaks to this that's really helped me think of things. It says people underestimate, they overestimate what they can do in a day, but they underestimate what they can do in a lifetime. And that just really, really spoke to me. So now I don't beat myself up for not being able to accomplish 10 things on my to-do list. Honestly, most days I can only really touch or really get done like 3 things. But if you do 3 things every day for 7 days in a week, you've done 21 things that week. And then you're just multiplying it for the month, and then for the year, your year looks a lot better than trying to do 21 things each day, failing miserably each day, and maybe only getting 1 or 2 or 3 things done for that whole week and then feeling guilty about it. Like, why even do that? So that's my time management thought process.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hope that was helpful. Another question is, what does being a supermom or superwoman mean to you? And what does your typical day look like? Do you plan or do you just go with the flow? So I kind of already answered that, but Sunshine.
Right. Well, how about we just tackle that? What does superwoman, supermom mean to you?
Okay.
I would say right now it means I'm not trying to be her. I've finally come to a place where I don't want to be superwoman, I don't want to be supermom. And only because I found that to be stressful. And I guess when I do think of those terms, I think of someone who's really doing it all. And I had to finally come to terms with the fact that I'm a human being, and no matter how much I want to get done, life always happens. I do have a child, I do have a husband, I do have myself who, I just may become fatigued, or I may just need, to take my hands off of some things. And so, praise God, I've given myself permission not to be supermom and not to be superwoman. So as much as I attempt to keep up my routine and my habits to get all the things done that need to be done, when, like, for these past few days, my husband has been off work, and so that is huge. We don't really get that time with him, and so I give myself permission. I give myself permission to say certain things are not going to get done. I'm not going to be super mom right now, you know, and so I don't try to live up to that. I just try to be the best me that I can be each day while staying true to my priorities and my commitments.
Yeah, that's pretty much the same for me. I'm not even close to Superwoman. I'm like, where does she stay at? I need to get some tips from her. So that's not me. But I guess if I think in terms of what being Superwoman for me is, lately I've been on this kick of just really focusing on one thing that I'm really trying to accomplish, just one major goal. For my blog, since I'm always talking about goals and everything, I think I used to overdo it, where I just had multiple things that I always wanted to accomplish. But like you said, you know, if you're focusing on something else, like if your husband is home and he hasn't been home and you're focusing on that, you know, some things are just not going to get done, and that's okay. So now I'm saying, okay, if I'm in a space of, you know, maybe I'm really working hard on my blog, what other things can I do to kind of lessen the load on some of the other stuff that I know that I have to do? So, for instance, cooking, and, you know, I'm a newlywed and I'm getting used to, like, okay, preparing meals and doing all this stuff. I used to beat myself up because I wanted to be this, like, super cook who made all these super healthy, elaborate meals, and then, you know, laundry was always, like, done every single day, and, like, all this little stuff, you know, and my hair and nails had to be, you know, super perfect, and just everything had to be fine. But now I'm like, well, you know what, I've made a commitment to focus on this issue. My husband supports me. He knows that I'm focusing on this. He's rah going with it. So, you know what? If I go to the grocery store and instead of going into the regular grocery aisle, I just go into the hot prepared meal section, you know, I pick up some pre-cooked chicken breast and some of their pre-cooked vegetables. Like, hey, we successfully had a healthy, inexpensive meal. It was on the table. Like, I didn't have to be Superwoman cook for that.
Absolutely.
You know? Or there was another time recently, just 2 weeks ago. We're in this in a community group with our church, and we were really just, like, focusing on them. There was a lot of activities that were happening that particular week, and we were just, like, hanging out with them and just doing so much stuff that we would, like, get up in the morning, go to work, immediately go hang out with them, and then come back home, and it'd be like 11 o'clock at night, and the house was just getting trashed, and there was just no time to really stop and do that. And I'm, like, feeling guilty again, like, oh my goodness, I'm supposed to be keeping this together and all this or whatever. And I just sat down and talked with my husband about it, and he was like, why don't we just, like, hire a housekeeper for this week just to, you know, clean up and kind of get us restarted. And I was like, that's an excellent idea. Thanks, babe. So
yes,
that's what we did, and it allowed me to kind of get everything back in order for the next week. You know, so yeah, I don't put needing to be super in every area on me. I just try to make sure that it's taken care of to a standard that is acceptable to me, but I don't always have to do it. Like, I don't always have to cook, or I don't always have to do this or whatever. I just try to be super in the one area that I know I'm focusing on, and then just not feel about the rest of stuff. So
I love that. I love that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, because, you know, for that week, it was important for us to be super members of our community group. You know, we really wanted to work with them and invest in them, and, you know, I couldn't be super house cleaner, so, you know, why feel guilty about that? What else can I leverage in my life to take care of that? So, yeah, that's me. I'm always like, okay, what tools or what other things can I use to help me instead of placing the burden on me all the time, so I don't have to be super.
I love it.
All right, and the last question I have here. Oh no, there's two more questions that we got ahead of time. But the first one is, I wanted to ask your opinion on starting a business and the courage to start the business despite the numerous challenges and competition.
Okay, so I guess my advice would be to really, really sit down right now and plan. I would say that is the number one thing, to really have a plan for what it is you're going to do, and to work on a business plan, because while you're working on your business plan, you're going to have to answer those questions. And I think that a lot of the fears that you may have, you're going to have to work through them in writing out the business plan. So that would be the number one thing I would suggest to you. And then as far as competition is a funny thing, and I don't think that you should let that distract you, because you got to think about it like this. Burger King sells burgers, McDonald's sells burgers, Wendy's sells burgers. Who else? You've got Smash Burger, Five Guys, Red Robin. You know, you get my drift. And the only thing that they have going for themselves is it's their version of the burger. None of them has completely monopolized the burger industry to the point where no one's going to buy a burger from anywhere else, and despite the fact that McDonald's makes billions of dollars a year, if a new burger joint opens in my neighborhood, I just may check it out because I love burgers. So with that concept in mind, you have to just don't let the competition bother you. So what? Someone else is already selling it. If you're not selling it, then the world has not met your version of it. And there's going to be plenty of people who want your version of it. Unless you're selling something like, I don't know, lamb's teeth, or something that there is really no market for. If there is already a market for it and you have like a unique way that you do it and you can work on that business plan, I say go for it, but don't let competition stop you, because competition surely didn't stop Burger King from making their burger they just came out with that's pretty much a dang Big Mac. Have you seen that burger? That Burger King, yeah, they came out with a burger that's pretty much a Big Mac. And Burger King is selling it. So
and people will buy it, because they like Burger King. I love what you said. It's like you got to focus on your perspective, because, that was really my answer to the question, is just focus on your own uniqueness and your point of differentiation, what you bring that's different to whatever industry or space that you're operating in, and just really focus on that, and then people who appreciate that will be into whatever it is that you're doing. For me, like, blogging is huge, and then blogging for people who have natural hair is like even bigger. And if I would have left, I don't really think in terms of competition from my blogging, because what I do is so much a part of me and my own personal experiences. Like, my experiences don't compete with somebody else's, and somebody else's experiences don't compete with mine. They're just my experiences. So I don't think in terms of competition in that way, but women who blog and kind of talk about the same things that I talk about, I get excited when I see someone who's doing that, and I think in terms of partnerships and collaboration, and okay, how else can I join them? I didn't watch you, Sunshine, and go, oh my goodness, she's not talking about natural hair anymore, she's talking about all these personal development topics and self-confidence and those are things that I want to talk about. I can't believe she's doing that. I'm never going to create a video, I'm never going to write a blog post about that again. No, I was like, oh my goodness, I love this woman. Like, I love her. And now I'm going to see if I can bribe her into coming on this live chat with me.
Oh my gosh.
But that's my perspective, and I think you'll find if you collaborate with people, you'd be amazed at how open and appreciative people are to have someone who's willing to kind of do the same thing that they're doing. So yeah, if I would just encourage that person to really buckle down on what it is that makes them unique, and then just put it out there and do it. And then when they see opportunities to collaborate with other businesses or other people who are in the same arena, to really jump on that and use it to their advantage. So
absolutely.
And then the last question that we received is a question on loneliness in the Christian girl. How does a single Christian girl cope with loneliness while trying to maintain a healthy social life and avoid unhealthy relationships?
Woo! That's a good question, because I was not saved while I was single, but I have come across a lot of single, saved young ladies, and my suggestion to them has been to get involved as much as they possibly can with their church. But I would take it a step further, and I would say that if you are a single young lady, I think you should get involved with a married woman who has a family, and really and get involved in that. Like, be a helper to her as much as you can, so you can begin to learn what goes into having a family. And I think it will definitely keep you out of trouble if you're spending all your time with this lady and her kids. You won't really have time for much else. But I would say definitely just get yourself focused. But I just also want to speak to the fact that you, as a single young lady, it's like you have so much time. You have
exactly what I was going to say.
You have so much everything. You have youth, you have time, you don't have the responsibilities, you don't have the weights, you don't have the burdens that come later on in life once you get married, have kids, so on and so forth. So if getting involved with your church or helping out some other married mom is not your cup of tea, I would say spend this time focusing on you. What are you going to do? What is it you want to do? What do you think God is calling you to do? Because you've got all the time in the world to focus on it. And I think those of us who are married, I'd be willing to bet, or have children, we kind of wish we had come into whatever it is we're going to do maybe a little bit sooner, because we would have had so much more time to put into it. So you have that. So I would say use that to the best of your ability, and don't focus so much on that relationship or even thinking about it as loneliness. Think about it as, what am I going to do with this free time that God has blessed me with? Because you won't always have it.
Oh my goodness, exactly. You took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, ditto all that. And I was just thinking, when I first originally read it, I was like, honestly, to say that you're lonely in a world where there are so many people who could use something that you're offering is really just focusing on like your own state and who's not in your life, but not the other lives that you can be a part of. So I would just say kind of develop like a service mindset. You know, who can you serve? What avenues, like you said, can you get involved in? Because it's very hard to be lonely if you are providing your time and service to help other people. And yeah, you know, I think all of us, we get so caught up in, you know, our own condition and, oh, I wish this were in my life or that, or I had this or whatever. But there's always somebody coming up behind you who wishes that they had what it is that you do. So, you know, if you're lonely, then kind of turn around and focus on those that are coming behind you and see what you can offer them. And it's that connection. You know, you won't have time to be lonely. So that would be my recommendation. Plus everything.
You got time, girl. You got lots of time. I wish I had it. I wish I had it.
Yeah, the time, man. Yeah, if I were still single, I would be like grinding. Y'all couldn't get me to do nothing. I would just be doing it is what it is that I want to do. So, yeah. So see it as a blessing, and definitely go for your dreams. So that was it for the questions. So I think we're wrapping up, and this concludes our girls' night in. I'm so sad.
Me too. I'm really sad about this, and I just want to say that I'm so honored that you asked me to do this. When you sent me the email, it was just, I know that you're definitely up and coming, and you're definitely going to just be uber successful. I definitely see the Think and Grow Chick movement being something very, very huge. And so I'm just honored to be a part of your beginning, because I think this is just the beginning for you. And I'm just thankful. And when you reached out to me, it was kind of like, Think and Grow Chick? I'm like, really? So I was honored, and I had a ton of fun doing this. Like,
yeah. I wanted to reach out to you for so long, so finally I was just like, I just need to send her an email. So I was so happy that you agreed to it. So thank you. My last question for you, I just want to make sure, so M does not want to make a cameo?
You know, M is, let me see, because he's out here. I'm surprised you haven't heard him. M, they're wondering if you want to make a cameo appearance.
I will have this match.
Honey, it's ending now.
Oh my God.
No, they cannot wait.
All right.
He says he's coming in like a second, so if we have a second. So maybe if we chose our winners.
Okay, yep, let's do that. So For everybody who submitted a question ahead of time, I took your name and I just wrote a number. We had 5 questions, so I wrote a number 1 through 5. So I'm getting ready to go to random.org, and I'm getting ready to generate a number.
And, oh, here he is.
Oh.
Say hi. Just come say hi. He's like not feeling like he's camera ready.
Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
You want to come make a cameo?
I'm not really sure how many people are there. Her husband's there. He's not going to come?
Come on. They are.
Hey, if he can do it looking like this. Come on, Jay. We want to see you.
Seriously?
He's not ready to make his camera debut.
Come on, just put a shirt on and people want to say hi. Emma's here.
Are you losing now because you're here?
I died already on purpose.
Oh.
Are you coming, dear?
You want to do some more than that or some shit?
Go ahead and what?
You want to do more on the couch?
I do. I mean,
you guys should definitely do more on the couch sessions. Those are hilarious.
I was just thinking about that.
We definitely want to do it. It's just getting him on the couch. So, the prep.
It's all you. It's all you, baby. It's all you.
Really?
Yes, really.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Is he coming?
Babe, are you coming? You got people waiting.
He killing my Xbox game.
Come on, dear. Quick, come on.
I really want to see
You did the whole little conference and everybody eating ice cream and stuff?
Yeah, I ate all. It was delicious.
I need anybody ice cream for the meeting.
This was the yogurt.
Oh.
And this was the drink.
Where's the handout from? What city?
It's Google.
All right. Oh, you put on a real shirt. Okay.
I had to put on something. Hey, hi everybody.
I can't see.
Hey, nice to meet you guys.
How you doing, man?
Hi.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm a fan of yours. I am a big fan of yours. I will say that.
What about me?
I think he's talking about you.
About me?
Yeah, you man, you be holding it down. Like, I don't think people feel our struggle, like being married to natural hair women, and I don't think people really feel our struggle. And I think you articulate that better than most.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem, man. No problem. Let me send it.
No, we are not cool, Jay. We are not cool.
What city are you guys from?
He's asking what city are you from?
She said Google. I said, what city are they from? She was like, Google. Google.
She probably doesn't. This is still live. Get out of here.
Oh no, I mean, people. I put it on Twitter. We're based in Dallas right now, so.
Dallas, okay. I'm just,
Okay. Okay.
See how
Thank
far
you.
this Google thing goes.
Thanks, dear. All right, close the door. Thank you. Thank you. Gotta get him out. Pretty soon he'll be. Who knows what he'll ask you next?
Stealing the whole show. All right, so let me pick our winner. About to generate the number. Oh, we're picking 3 winners, correct?
Yep.
Okay, and you want to show them what they're gonna win?
Yeah. So this is the travel size. You're gonna get the Cutie Juice cocktail and a Sunshine Amazing Body Butter in the travel size. So this is perfect to go in your purse. It's great. Like, I keep this with me, this size with me at all times, because after I wash my hands, I must use Sunshine. I just can't live life without it. And you've got your Cutie Juice, so if you need to refresh, at any moment, you'll have it with you. So that is the gift.
Perfect. So we're picking 3 winners based on those who've answered questions. So the first winner is Vanessa Agu. Congratulations,
Yay!
Vanessa. So you won one of those. Okay, let's do the next person. M. Marie Roden. So you also are a winner. Yay! And our last person is Curly Kiki. Congratulations.
Yes!
So we
Yay!
got Vanessa, Anne-Marie Roden, and Curly Kiki. You all will receive one of Sunshine's amazing products. So congratulations.
I'm excited for you. So I'm sure we'll work out the details to where I'll get their information, but I'm excited. Yes.
Yep. So I'll reach out to them and then direct them to you through your Etsy, and then you can ship it, and they'll be on their way.
Yep. I'm excited.
Okay. Well, I'm so sad this is over. This was so much fun. Thank you all for joining and just all the love and excitement you all were displaying on the event page before we even got a chance to do this. This was awesome. And I'm just going to put it out there. I hope that we can do this again sometime. So, yeah. And if there's ever any further questions, you all know where Sunshine and I are online, so you can reach out to her on her YouTube page and me on my blog. And we just really appreciate doing this. It was really fun. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I just had a blast.
Me too. So we'll see you all next time. Thank you.
Bye.